They get on their knees. They're like drooling. Thank you so much for seeing me. Thank you for your time. Thank you for allowing me to pay you. And I do like seeing them like turned on and excited. It's powerful.
Yeah.
It's fun to like get that response out of someone.
We are in NoHo today at Jack's on Bond, one of our favorite New York City date spots and sceniest cocktail bars. So let's go in. Welcome back to Drinks First. Today we have a super exciting guest that I have been wanting to have on the show since I met you over a year ago. Easily. I feel like we've known each other for a minute, but
Definitely last fall, I think, is when we met.
okay, yeah.
I've been wanting to be on it since then, so I'm like very excited.
I'm super excited to have you here. So
Yeah.
we're just going to start. I'm going to ask you how old you are, where are you from, and where do you live now?
Okay. Oh, I'm 26. I'm from Westchester, and I live in Brooklyn now in Bushwick.
How long have you been in the city?
For the past 3 years, the first 2 I was in Alphabet City, and then I made the move to Bushwick.
Made the move to Bushwick.
Yeah, a year ago.
What are you liking more, like East Village life or Bushwick life?
Honestly, I mean, it took a while to adjust to Bushwick, but
Yeah.
now that I have, I like it a lot more.
Did you go to college or
Yeah, I did.
where did you go?
I went to Miami,
And what did you study?
neuroscience.
Cool.
Yes.
And what do you do now for work?
I'm a professional dominatrix.
That's so cool.
It's very different than what I thought I was going to be doing when I was in college.
How long have you been doing that for?
For a year and a half.
Okay, so what were you doing before Dom?
Yeah, that's what you could call it.
Cool.
So I graduated in 2020 during the pandemic. So I just wanted a job.
Yeah.
Like I moved home to Westchester, needed a job. It took me a while to get one. I was doing some tutoring. And then I started working in a corporate law firm doing recruiting,
Okay.
which I hated. It was also like all remote. So just not a great like first job environment. I don't know if you like experienced that.
Yeah, I graduated the year before you.
Okay.
And so I had like a few months when I was doing 5 days a week in office, and then the pandemic hit. And then I was fully remote basically until I left my job like 6 months ago.
That's crazy.
But I love that. I'm biased because I'm very much like in a way, like you work to live kind of person.
Absolutely.
And so I loved my job. I liked what I was doing, but I cared way more about what I was doing outside of work, which was this. And
what was your job?
I was a product designer. I worked at Johnson & Johnson.
Oh my God, why?
Yes. So I did like for almost 5 years, I did healthcare design. Like
Wow.
I worked in pharma and I like helped design like apps and websites and like a lot of technology stuff behind like what J&J did in the pharma space, which like interesting, totally different from what I do now. But I was only really able to do what I could do because I was remote.
Yeah.
Like I was able to balance my time. I was able to throw parties late at night on a weekday. Like, because I would wake up the next morning, just turn on my laptop and like start working. I didn't have to commute. I didn't have to do anything. I liked my coworkers, but I didn't like care enough.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't care enough. I just like cared more about what I was doing outside. And so I was like, I'm working this job to work this job, and like what I'm doing outside is fulfilling me. So
For sure.
I don't know if you felt like you had a similar experience.
I think if I had been working fully in office 5 days a week, or 5 months, you said, or however long, like I would have been so happy to be fully remote after having that experience. But going into it, like being fully remote into the workspace, like just kind of weird. Also, like, I didn't really love it. I never thought that I would do recruiting. It was kind of like a pandemic job.
Yeah.
I left that after a year, and then I worked at a startup in Soho that was basically like a fraternity. It was all people my age, like some of my friends from high school.
Okay.
Some people you probably know from like the New York DJ scene.
Sure.
Like very different than like the law firm.
Yeah.
Doing COVID test sales.
Okay.
Yeah. So then that was interesting. The pandemic ended though, and we were like all out of a job. So then I got into doming as a result of like being let go from that company.
Okay. I feel like I'm missing a few steps here.
Probably.
So tell me, like, how did that happen?
Yeah. So around the time where I was wrapping up at that job, I started looking for like a new career. And I was always interested in like human sexuality. That was one of my minors in college.
Cool.
I minored in like sociology too. So I was always like into it and like the neuroscience psychology space.
Yeah.
So
Wait, human sexuality was a minor that was offered at U Miami?
it was gender and sexuality studies.
Okay.
But yeah. So I was always like interested in that, but I didn't know what exactly to do with it.
Yeah.
And I found this online program for sex coaching.
Okay.
That was like this remote 2-year program. It just seemed really cool. So I had just enrolled in that. And once I was doing that, I was thinking about like kind of parallel jobs to have to like complement it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at like working in a sex shop, working in, I don't know, whatever kind of like similar industry. And I thought it would be cool to be a dominatrix. I did not know anything about it.
Okay.
I just thought, oh, it goes along with it. So I did some research online. I found like dungeons and I was so intimidated. Like, they're not going to want me. Like, I don't know anything. I mean, I knew some stuff from my personal life and like I'm bi. So
Yeah.
I have some understanding, but I'm like, these places are not
But
going to.
your understanding was what? Like baseline, just like sexual experiences you had in your life. It wasn't anything in a professional capacity, was it?
It wasn't, I mean, so much for like a professional capacity, but I was very involved in like LGBTQ advocacy in college. I don't know if you know Megan Rapinoe.
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
I like interviewed her
Cool.
on campus. So like I was involved more in just like the social advocacy space.
Sure.
And from my own sexual experiences, like with men and women, I had some understanding from that too. But I did not really know how to do this job. And I did not think that they would want to hire someone without any experience. So I kind of like let it go until I randomly, the universe, like it fell into my arms. I met someone who knew someone who ran a dungeon.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. How many dungeons are there like in the city?
There are more than I probably know.
Okay.
There's like the big ones. So you think like where Julia Fox used to work.
Sure.
It's called Pandora's. There's a couple like big ones, but then doms who go independent, like they still need a space. So they'll kind of like make their own like mini dungeon too.
Okay.
So as I've learned more people, like met more people in the industry, I have learned about like all these ones that I didn't know about. But there's like, I would say 4 big ones.
Okay.
And then more like smaller.
And can you explain to our listeners or viewers, like what is a dungeon?
Yeah, it is like a BDSM space for mostly men to go, but people of any gender can go if they would like to book a session with a professional and have an experience that like has to do with whatever their kink or fetish is.
But does that kink and fetish fall within the BDSM spectrum? Like, does it have to fall within that, or can it be anything?
What do you mean? Can it be anything?
Like, how would you define BDSM?
Well, like bondage, dominance, submission, masochism, sadomasochism, like that's what it stands for. So, but it could be anything, I guess, to your point. Like, it could be anything that turns someone on. But at least the place where I work, like, it needs to be maintained that the doms, like, we are above the subs. Other places allow for something called switching. We don't allow for that.
Okay,
so
interesting.
It cannot be a sub, even if a client wants that. Because, I don't know, I mean, there's a lot of opinions on it, but, like, it can be more unsafe.
Sure.
And it just goes against our vibe.
Okay, wait, tell me. All right. You meet somebody who knows somebody who has a dungeon.
Yes.
Let's go back to there. I want to hear about how you've progressed like to this point.
So I met someone who knew someone who ran a dungeon, and I start working there. The first day, like, I shadow a couple of the girls.
Okay.
I shadowed 2 girls, 3 sessions.
And what, you basically told this person who was who owned this dungeon, like, hey, I'm interested in this. Like, would you be willing to take me on? Or
more so, like, I mean, this place, we're more like amateur vibe. So it was a good space for me and for for women who have never like done this before. And it's a very welcoming kind of like, you don't know anything about it. You're young, but we're going to teach you.
Okay.
And you're going to be great at it. Like that's kind of the energy. And so I was just given so much confidence where I feel like maybe somewhere else it would have been different. But yeah, so I shadowed some girls with their clients for the day.
Okay. And their clients were cool with that?
Yeah. One of them like paid for a double dom.
Okay.
So I got paid for the session.
Cool.
The other ones, they were happy to have me. I mean, who doesn't want like another girl?
Yeah,
right?
Sure. You're a 2 for 1.
Yeah, exactly. But they didn't want to like pay for it or whatever. So then I got like tip money based off of that.
Nice.
For me, I mean, I was unemployed, getting unemployment money for 6 months after I had left my job. So I'm like, this is great. Like I made so much money today. I had to do this cool thing. Like I'm so exciting, like such like adrenaline. And the kinks were crazy. Like this one guy comes in and he's like, I'm into spanking. And we're like, okay, anything else?
Yeah.
I was like, no, that's just spanking. And we're like, for the whole hour? Like that's it? Like, and he's like, yeah. So we spanked him with a wooden paddle
for an hour,
entire hour, and he like so hard, so hard, and it was really the moment where I was like, I can do this.
Yeah,
because I was kind of going at it more than the other dom who had been there. She had only been there for like a month at this time, but she had a lot more experience, and it kind of, yeah, I felt like I could do this.
Yeah, I mean. One that's so real. One time I was at Kit Kat in Berlin, and
I love Kit Kat.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And I just remember I've been a few times, but I remember one time I was there. This guy was bent over and being flogged for, I swear to God, it must have been at least 2 hours, nonstop.
Yeah,
nonstop. People were just like sitting next to him as he like was getting fucking smacked, and I was like, people are into everything, you know?
Absolutely.
So you did this first experience. You're like, great, I'm getting paid. This is something you could maybe see yourself doing.
Yeah.
And where did it go from there?
So then the next day it was like, you feel like you're ready to do this on your own. And I was like, yep, I am going to do this. I'm going to make some money. Like I honestly didn't really have a choice because I was closing up on my lease in the East Village, and I either had to get a new apartment or move back to Westchester with my parents, and I was not about to do that. So I was like, okay, maybe I don't know if I'm ready to do this on my own. It is scary, but I just did it anyway. So then the next day I started seeing clients on my own.
How do you acquire clients?
Yeah, that's a good question. And when you work in a dungeon, they do that for you.
Okay.
So they do all the marketing, they do all of the scheduling, and it's really good for people who don't want it to be known that they do this.
Okay.
Which in the beginning, I mean, I didn't really know, like, so they find the clients over just years of like doing it. It's online. They utilize social media, and that's how I got them all. I mean, they love to see a new dom on the site. Like novelty is a big thing in it too. So I started in June, and the whole summer I was just working nonstop. In July, I'm on a flight to Vermont by myself to go see a client.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So now it exists outside of the dungeon.
Yes. So out calls, which would be at a trusted client's like home or hotel room, but only if it's established that like we feel safe with that. The majority are in calls, which would be in the dungeon.
So an out call, does that booking go through the dungeon or through you?
Yes.
Okay. So it's all still through the dungeon. Like nobody's coming to you direct.
Well, now I am switching things up.
Okay.
Yes. Now I'm kind of in the process of like going independent, which means that you have to do your own like sourcing of clients.
Sure.
But that's a step that it's a lot more work. It takes like a part-time job and makes it a full-time job.
Yeah.
But it's something that I wanted. Like I want to do my own marketing. I want to like have more of a say. and build a brand for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So my dungeon has been like very accommodating to that. I don't know if like others would be, but they're letting me like take my time with it and kind of be in this like interim right now where I could bring in my own clients and I could still have the dungeon's clients.
Okay, cool.
So that's been cool to see, and I'm like growing in this space for sure.
And so let's talk a little bit about what it means to be a dominatrix. Like, what does your day-to-day look like? What do your hours look like? What do inquiries and look like? And to be very clear, this is all legal, right? Yeah.
Yeah. BDSM is legal in the state of New York.
Okay.
And everything that we do is legal. Where I work, we operate on an on-call system. So I set my schedule for the week. I basically decide if I want to work Monday and what hours I want to work. If I want to work Tuesday, whatever. Other places, you do like shifts. So you'd go in from like, I don't know what time, 8 p.m. till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And whoever books during that time, you see. But for me, I only work like when I have a client. So that's how like the scheduling works. And it's difficult. I would say scheduling is like the most difficult part of the job because I could be free all day Monday. No one is around. No one wants to see me. And then Friday, I'm going out and everyone on the fucking planet wants to see me.
Yeah.
So it can be difficult, but it is nice that like whenever I am going to work, I am having work and making money.
Yeah.
So that's how the scheduling works. The clients reach out. It could be last minute. It could be like an hour's notice. I have to go.
And what do you get, like an email or something?
I get a text.
Okay, I get a text.
I get a text with their name, the location, if it's an in-call or an out-call. Like usually it's an in-call. I get the amount that they're paying and the amount of hours. Usually it's 1 hour, but it could be, I mean, I've had like 3 hours, 4 hours at the longest. And I get their list of kinks.
Okay.
Yes. So it could be anything.
Oh my God, I want to see one of these texts.
Oh my gosh, do you want me to get my phone?
Yeah, wait.
It's right there. Okay, yeah. So this is actually my first client that I found myself.
Okay.
Or he found me through social media. And I'm bringing him in like to the dungeon. So his name, my name, the location. It's 3 hours, so it's an out call first. Maybe I'll bring him here.
Yeah.
Having dinner and drinks with him. And then it's a 2-hour session in call. And then those are his kinks: foot worship, trampling, and CBT, which is cock and ball torture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love this. Okay, so this was going to be my other question. Doesn't have to be these numbers, but like, what does a typical dom get paid?
Yeah, I would say the average pay, it's like $250 to $450 an hour is what the client is paying.
Okay.
If you work at a dungeon,
they take a cut.
And even if you don't, you probably have to pay for some studio space.
Yeah.
To rent, unless you get the client to like, pay for the hotel room that you're using.
Sure.
But you really don't want to do that like with the first time client, like safety protocol. So it depends. And yeah, I get they pay $350 an hour.
Okay.
So I get $175.
Yeah. Okay.
And then tips, which some people do, some people don't. I would say like 50% of the time I get a tip. It could be $20. It could be like $1,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it really depends on, well, again, because we kind of got caught off here. BDSM is legal in New York State.
Yeah.
It's considered sex work, but it's not, you're not having sex with the client, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So I guess that's to be clear, like what a dominatrix does.
Yeah. I need to give more background on that. Okay. So when I first started, I was very much so like, this is not sex work.
Yeah.
And it's not. We do no jobs of any kind.
Yeah.
That's always specified to the client, like, so they don't expect that and come in or try to pretend like they didn't know. Like, it's very clear.
Yeah.
No jobs of any kind. No nudity on our part.
Okay.
They can be naked.
Okay.
There's actually a kink called clothed female naked male.
Okay, that makes
So,
sense. Power dynamic.
Exactly. It's like the power dynamic. So I'll wear whatever I want. Some clients have a kink where like it's specific to the outfit. So if they like latex or like leather, if they like workout clothes and they want you in like sweaty gym socks and sneakers and like leggings. Like I have one guy on OnlyFans, Lululemon leggings.
That's like has to be Lululemon.
Yeah, it has to.
Okay.
It has to.
Does he buy them for you?
Well, I already had a pair.
Okay.
But if it's someone in person or like this other guy on OnlyFans, I'm making a video. He has a cast fetish. So I was
like a arm
cast.
Okay.
Like a neck brace is arriving for me today.
Oh my
that he purchased. Yeah. So if I don't own it, like
they will get it.
Yeah, unless it's like nylon stockings, which is also pretty common, or like heels, like that's expected to be had.
Sure.
But some people are very specific, like heels with a skinny heel, no chunky heel, no platform, or like black nylons versus whatever other type. But for the majority, like I get to wear whatever I like to.
Cool.
Yeah. And no sex of any kind, no nudity on my part. They can self-release.
Okay.
If I choose to let them.
Okay. I was gonna ask, like, for something like CBT, right? Like, I would imagine the guy would probably get naked.
Yeah.
And
sometimes they don't.
Lock and key? Like,
oh, that could fall under CBT, but that would be like written as
chastity. Okay.
Yeah. That would be specified. CBT, I mean, I don't know. Some of it, I still kind of make shit up.
Sure.
Like, and that's the thing too, with like working at the space that I work with, we were given so much confidence, like that I didn't have with it. Like, I had a client, his only thing was written loser hypnosis. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then my team is like, oh, you know, like loser hypnosis, like, you know, and I'm like, no, I don't
know.
Like, they're like, just like hypnotize him to be a loser. And I'm like, I still don't know what you're talking about. And then they're texting the client and they're like, yeah, she knows what she's doing. She's done this so much. But like,
she's an expert.
She is an expert at loser hypnosis. And I'm like, okay, I just have to pretend. Like, fake it till you make it with everything.
You're like acting.
Yes. It's like performance art. It's acting.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's stand-up comedy, honestly. Like it's therapy sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just want to talk. Like,
what has been like your best experience with a client?
That's tricky because the best is when they give me a lot of money.
Yeah.
In some ways. So like clients that have tipped a lot. But then also like if I just really enjoy the client and the session, that also to me is a good experience.
Isn't?
I don't know exactly what is the best one. I can tell you the worst.
Sure. Tell me the worst.
The worst is like wrestling clients.
Okay.
I don't like wrestling clients. And there's not many of them. I've had like 3 clients who like
that
wrestling.
Feels like very physical and could be borderline unsafe.
Yeah. And they've always been very like mindful to keep me safe, but it's when I said we don't do switching.
Yeah.
But when you're wrestling, like you kind of are just by nature of what it is, like switching.
Yeah.
So I don't like it for that reason. And I found that like the people who are into wrestling, they're not very like submissive. Because they like this activity more than like the dominance. I like the clients, they come in, they get on their knees, they're like drooling. Thank you so much for seeing me. Thank you for your time. Thank you for allowing me to pay you. And I'm like counting the money in front of them. And I'm like, yeah, you're so fucking lucky to be here right now. Like I like that level of like, submission and just worship. And like they're grateful for anything.
Yeah.
You know, like they are not asking me, oh, can you please like take your clothes off? Oh, I just want to see. Like they know what they're getting and they like what they're getting. They're into it. And I do like seeing them like turned on and excited. It's powerful.
Yeah.
It's fun to like get that response out of someone.
Are all your clients men?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have had one client who actually I really like him. Maybe he's one of my favorites. He's brought female partners that he's had.
Okay.
And that's been really interesting. So like one of the experiences, she was also a sub, so I was like doming her too. But in the other experiences, they were doming him with me. So it was like I was teaching her how to dom him. Yeah,
Cool.
exactly. That's the only experience. And we just don't market to women.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, that I would probably pay a dom. I don't think most women would, but I probably would.
So do your parents know what you do, and are they chill with it?
Yeah, that's a good question. My dad knows.
Okay.
And we talk about it openly. I mean, not so openly.
Yeah.
I didn't tell him for like a year. I kind of said, and I had a lot of jobs when I started this. I was also working at a fitness center. I was doing bottle service. I was still tutoring. Like, I was, because I didn't know how it was gonna go.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was gonna be profitable or not, or like if I was gonna like it or what. So I was doing a ton of things, and that got me pretty far and like the lying about it. But then after a year, it was just becoming like, what's going on? So my dad came to visit me in Brooklyn. We're in the car, we're eating ice cream, my dog's in the back seat, and I'm leaving to go to Berlin in like a couple days. And he's like, so, you need any money for Berlin? I'm like, no, Dad, like, thank you. He's like, why? Yeah. I'm like, because I have money. He's like,
how?
I'm like, because I do. And he's like, well, how are you making it? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And he knew I was in this sex coaching program. So he knew about that. And
is that done?
Yes.
Okay.
I finished that. And I also see clients for that.
Amazing.
So that's pretty cool too. But yeah, he knew that I was doing that. And he was so accepting about it. He's honestly really chill and cool. But yeah. So I was like, do you already know? Like, yeah, maybe you know, because I live in Westchester. I'm from Westchester. Like, my brothers are around my age, and I have many friends from high school.
Totally.
So I'm like, you know, have you heard? And I have the OnlyFans, which you have to now advertise like on social media.
Yeah.
Like, maybe he knows, right? Do you know what I do? And he's like, no. Is it illegal? Are you selling drugs? And I'm like, no. And he's like, well, is it illicit? And I was like, yeah. Kind of. And then it just like pause. And he's like, well, just, what is it saying? And I start like bawling. I'm like, I just, please, like, you can't tell Mom. So say, I won't tell her. I promise, whatever. If she finds out, it's on me for me. I'm like, okay. Do you know what a dominatrix is?
Oh my God.
And he's like, yes. I'm like, okay, well, I do that. And then it got into like his biggest concern was safety.
Yeah.
A couple questions like, what does that mean? What do you wear? And I just gave him the whole, I spit on men, I hit them, I laugh at them, like I kick them.
And they pay me.
And I love it. Like, I love it so much. Like, I really, like, I don't want you to freak out. Like, that's why I hadn't told them.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them to freak out and, like, get me to lose my job.
Yeah.
That I love so much.
Yeah. So Mom doesn't know.
Well, I mean, they're married.
Yeah,
and they live together.
Maybe she knows.
So maybe she knows, but she just always, like, has been more difficult.
Yeah.
With everything, and takes more initiative to, like, change things that she doesn't like about my life. So I just really, like, now that I'm going independent, I feel less concern over, like, someone being able to take it from me. Like, now it's my own.
Yeah.
But I was very concerned. I'm like, is she going to call the dungeon? It's like, get me fired. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What will happen? So that was my concern.
Do your siblings know?
Also, great question.
You haven't explicitly told them.
I haven't explicitly said anything to anyone besides in my family, besides my dad and one of my cousins.
Okay.
It's an awkward thing.
It's complicated, for sure.
Yeah, it's awkward.
Yeah. And well, you said that you have OnlyFans now.
I do.
So what's that experience been like? Is it because, did you get one because you wanted to go independent with the doming? And is it like feed into one another?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So I just got to a point where like I really love the work that I was doing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be able to do it more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't work 40 hours a week in person seeing clients. There aren't enough. And they don't have the time. Like, most of these guys have full-time jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They're working during the day. So, like, I had a lot of downtime.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be, like, working in the same way that I was. So that's why I started the OnlyFans. It's been interesting.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a learning curve. I don't know if you know many people who do it.
I have a few friends who've done it.
Okay.
Done it, but would love to hear about your experience.
My experience maybe is different from like the average person's. I don't know how many people on it do like doming type of content versus like other types of content. So that like for sure varies. But the biggest thing that I didn't realize when you started is like you have to advertise on other platforms.
Yeah.
You can't go on OnlyFans and like there's not like a For You page that like brings you people.
Totally. Which I think is it's so funny you say that, because just as somebody who does a podcast, it was very similar when I started podcasting 5 years ago. There's no discoverability like for podcasts. So that's why now we're filming, because that's how people find out about podcasts. They see it on their For You page. They see it on their social media. And anybody, I think, who's in, it's one thing to make, it doesn't matter what content you're making.
Yeah.
It's one thing to make content. It's another thing to convince people to consume it.
Yes.
And so to find, like in your case, it's even harder because there's a paywall around it.
Yeah.
And you know, you have to do some level of advertising on other platforms to lead people into your OnlyFans. Like, it's not as simple as posting your feet on the internet, you know? Like,
people think, and you can make a lot of money from doing this. And I know people who successfully do it and don't show their face.
Yeah.
Or like only selfie pics. Like, there are a lot of ways to go about it, but you have to advertise somewhere else.
Yeah.
Whether it's Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, like you have to funnel people there. And also because of what it is, it's hard because you get censored.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have to get people from TikTok. I can't put the OnlyFans link on my TikTok.
Right.
Even if it's in a link tree. They flagged it. So they have to go from my TikTok to my fucking Twitter, go to the link, and then get to the OnlyFans. Mm-hmm. So it is challenging, but it's been profitable. It's been beneficial.
Great.
And now I'm in a place where like I can go independent because of that.
Okay, whoa.
Yeah.
So that's why you've been making some social media content around sex coaching, around BDSM, about being a dom, and all of that has been sort of like a lead generator for your OnlyFans, and I'm going to guess for finding clients as well.
Yeah. And for the coaching clients.
Yeah.
Like I do have, that's like the smallest part of my business, I would say, is like my coaching practice. But I do have a handful of clients who like I work with in like more of a therapy kind of way, towards whatever like sexual issues, relationship issues they have.
Yeah.
And a big thing is dating for my clients.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just about to ask you, one, what is the sort of like profile or average demographic of the clients that you get, both from, I guess, coaching and in your dom practice? And then separately, how has that impacted your life?
Yes.
Outside, because we've spoken so much about work, and obviously it's intertwined. And it's funny, in like a different way, I'm in the sex, dating, and relationship space, and I know how difficult it can be for me to date with like people because of X, Y, and Z thing. When you're in that space, it's like, how does it work for you?
Yeah, those are two great questions. So the majority of my clients, like, I think it's just because it's New York City, 20 to 40-year-olds.
Okay.
Maybe like 25 to 45.
Yeah.
That's the majority. People think that it's like older, rich men, and that's some of it. And I would like for that to be
more of it.
Yeah. But it could be anyone, like literally a college kid from NYU.
Yeah.
Like scraping his fucking pennies together to come see this.
Interesting.
So it is like across all professions, ages, ethnicities, religions. Like it is everyone. A lot of them have partners, have girlfriends, have wives. Some of them share it with me. Some of them don't. I had one client who, maybe he was lying, I don't know, but told me that his girlfriend is a therapist, and she knew that he was seeing doms, and she was very happy for him to do that, and they had boundaries like established. I think I would love for everyone to like do it that way. But if I turned away people who have, you know, a partner, you would have a clients.
Yeah.
So that's the majority of the clients. It's different, like on OnlyFans and stuff, like a slightly different demographic, but that's overall. And for me, it's been a journey with like dating in this profession.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I would say it was more difficult when I first got into the sex coaching program and like started posting on social media just about that. I wasn't yet a dom. That was more difficult with dating because I would go on dates with guys and they would tell me all of their problems in bed.
Yeah.
And then they would want to sleep with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not your coach. You're not paying me. It just felt kind of weird. It felt like they're opening up to me about stuff very prematurely. Like I'm having first date.
Yeah.
Like first date, like I have whatever fetish or I have erectile dysfunction. I'm like, you think I'm going to have sex with you? Yeah. You said that. Like, and no shade to anyone who has whatever type of sexual like concerns or anything, but it just put me in a weird position.
Totally.
So that sucked.
How were you meeting people?
I mostly meet people through like mutual friends, I would say. That's how I have always preferred to meet people, and I still do. I do utilize dating apps, but I prefer to use them like when I have something very specific that I'm looking for.
Okay.
Like I wanted to have a threesome with the person I was dating at the time, and like we both wanted a male who was dominant. So like at that
went on field.
Yeah, exactly. Or I needed someone to shoot OnlyFans content with. He is a submissive guy, so like went on fields for that. But dating apps overall, like when it's so open-ended, overwhelms me.
Yeah.
And it just feels too time-consuming. I much like prefer to meet people in person.
Yeah.
First. Yeah.
Have you met anybody of interest through your profession?
Yes.
Okay.
But I do not recommend to anyone ever to see a client outside of work and to have a romantic relationship with them.
What was that like?
It was really like terrible.
Okay.
Have you seen the movie Nora? It just came out.
I have not, but I've heard amazing things about it.
I have like my own qualms with it. I mean, it's a male director telling the story of a sex worker. And it does paint the picture of like a girl who had nothing else to do and she was forced into it, and like this sad story.
Okay.
And it's something that I think is important to be told, but it's not
your experience.
It's not my experience.
Yeah.
I could have done anything. I have a bachelor's degree in neuroscience.
Yeah.
Like I did it because it was fun and because I liked it. And
it sounds incredibly empowering also.
It is. Yeah. Absolutely. But so those are my problems with Anora, but it also is really similar to what happened to me with a client that I had feelings for and who had feelings for me.
Okay.
And I don't really like want to get too into it.
Sure.
But what I will say is that like once you meet someone in that space and they're paying you and you're being paid, it's a dynamic that does not exist. Like you are edited versions of yourself.
Yeah.
In that space. Like I'm the same person, but I'm also not. I'm like ultra confident, hypersexual. Like I'm professional as well. And being a dom, like it is about you, like it is about me, but I'm also creating an experience for them.
Yeah.
Where it's not like the same dynamic. And when you see someone outside of it, it changes. So it was very like anxiety evoking.
Yeah.
Because it's like, wait, do you actually like the person that I am?
Outside of my job.
Totally. Like, do you like this other version of me more?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I didn't know either going the other way. Like, do I actually like you?
Yeah.
Maybe I just liked you in this situation.
Yeah. So with relationships that have existed outside of your work spectrum, like, have you been in any serious long-term relationships?
I have, yeah.
When was your last relationship?
My last like serious relationship was before I started in this work.
Okay.
Since I started, I've had many long situationships
Sure.
with men and women, but I haven't had like a fully exclusive relationship, and I don't even know what that would look like because I am having it is like an open relationship in a type of way when you do this.
Yeah.
So that's something that I've been navigating with prospective partners, like as I've been dating, is like, okay, are you okay with me doing this? And like, where do we go from here?
Have you received pushback around it? Like, in dating in the last year and a half since you've really taken this profession more seriously and it's something you're committing to full time.
Yeah.
And now it's also more out there because you make content around it.
Yeah.
I would imagine, and maybe tell me if I'm wrong, are the people you're meeting, is the primary issue your job then? Because it's kind of all out on the table.
I wouldn't say like there's any issue.
Sure.
I'm honestly not really looking for like a serious relationship right now. So I wouldn't say like there's any issue on the table, but I would say that people are hesitant about my job.
Yeah. And not issue. That was the wrong word. More of like a roadblock. Like,
yeah. And it is like, for example, I went on a date with a guy like a year ago, and I just heard back from one of our mutual friends that he said to her, like, I can't get past her job. I don't want to date him anyways, so it's fine. But to me, if you don't like me if you don't want to date me because of my job, like that I love and that I make money from.
And you're also way more of a person outside of your job too. So
exactly. So if that's like, the concern, then I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to date someone where I have to like continually justify it and where I feel insecure. And in the past situationships that I had, I honestly think it was more of my insecurities with it than their pushback.
Got it.
Like, I noticed that I felt a need to like pay more for dates and stuff.
Really?
This is so bizarre. I don't know if anyone else has had this experience like in my line of work, but I felt like, oh, maybe they don't like my job. They don't like that I do this. So at least I can like pay for more of our dates to prove that like my job is good. So how could they not like me for my job if like I can pay for things with my job?
What
I'm trying not to do that anymore. I'm not paying. I'm not fucking opening my bag on a date.
Well, I'm curious because you date both men and women, or just I guess anybody who identifies as either or.
Yeah.
Do you find that women are more tolerant of the job?
Yes.
Right?
I do.
I would believe that would be true.
Like, since I started, I had 2 longer term situationships. One was with a girl for I think 3 months, 4 months or so. And then the other was with the guy for like 8 months or so.
Oh my God.
And there was definitely more conversations about it, more like confusion with the guy than I was with the girl. But I did feel that like kind of insecurity in both relationships. And now I've noticed, and going forward, like I'm ready to date in a way that, is more in tune with like what I want and what I need.
Yeah. So what is that now?
I think I would like to be with someone who also works in like a creative type of industry. I don't know if it needs to be like the same industry. I think maybe that would be beneficial for me. I don't know if you've read this book, but I would recommend it. Boy Slut by Zachary Zane. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it. I haven't read it.
Oh, cool. He lives in Brooklyn. He is like a sex writer, educator, and he talks about dating being like bisexual and kind of figuring out like, am I polyamorous? Am I not? And he said that in his relationships, he struggled with having sex with his like monogamous partners, more like his consistent partners, because he really likes novelty. And so he likes having
different
more-
experiences.
Yeah, like hookups.
Yeah.
He likes hookups. And he thought something was wrong with him. And like, why don't I want to have sex with my partner anymore? And he then found that like he had a relationship with a guy who works in the porn industry who also didn't want to have sex with his partner after coming home from like having sex all day at work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now it works for them. So that was a really interesting experience, or a really interesting like thing to read about.
Totally.
It opened my mind to the possibilities of like what dating can look like.
Yeah.
And it's not just like an open relationship versus a monogamous relationship, but there are different ways that you can go about like having sex with your partners. I don't know that like I would want that type of dynamic specifically, but it did open my mind to the possibilities.
I think what's interesting is when people have like a checklist of what they would want in a partner, I think there are times that that can manifest in a way that you have absolutely no idea that that's how that would work out.
Yeah.
Like, and this can happen at any baseline. Like, for example, like my last relationship, I kept telling myself I wanted to be with a partner who would like be comfortable if I left them alone at like one of my events.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's something that's so important to me, that somebody can be like independent of me in that situation and like still have them be supportive, but not like that I have to babysit them the entire time I'm working, basically. And I always imagine that would manifest in somebody who's like really outgoing and like is more than fine partying on their own, or like with new people. And my ex, like he's great. He was always very supportive about what I did, but he didn't really care to socialize with anyone. Like he wouldn't mind like being there by himself alone. He'd like have a drink, he'd listen to music, he'd like hang out until I was done with my work, which is sometimes like 4:00 in the morning. And that kind of support like manifested in a way that I didn't expect it to, where it's like, oh, I am getting what I want. It's just not what I thought it would look like.
Absolutely. I think you hit it like right on the head. When people have such a specific list of like who they want, what they want, it hinders like you from attracting people into your life. So and something can be totally unexpected.
Yeah.
Like you said. So I don't think I have like anything specific that I want. I think I just want someone who's like open-minded.
Yeah.
Or multiple people. I don't really know. But
are you like, have you explored and are open to polyamory? Is that something that is interesting to you or not really?
Yeah, I am interested in it because I think like given the job that I have and that I'm having those experiences with other people, maybe a partner that I have will want to be in an open relationship because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that would like make it more equal for us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense, but I would be open to that. Yeah, because of what my job is. I don't know that like I need multiple partners. I have enough
going on.
Yeah. That I, do things with. I have enough, but like maybe my partner would want that, and I'm more than happy to like have that type of relationship.
Yeah, be open to that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Oh, and where are we on time?
Almost an hour.
Okay, we should wrap up.
Am I yapping?
No, I feel like I can talk to you forever. So it's like, okay. So we end every episode with a segment called Shots.
Yes.
And what we're gonna do a little twist on it now because we have drinks.
Cool.
So let's move these out of frame. We'll just get.
I'll push it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our drinks here. I'm gonna ask you a series of this or that questions, and you're gonna drink until you can respond to it. Okay. It's gonna go quickly.
Okay.
Are you ready to do some shots?
Should I start drinking right now?
Yeah, go. Okay. Okay. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Delivery or sit-down restaurant?
Delivery.
Bus or train?
Ooh, train.
Country or city?
City.
Morning or night?
Night.
Call or text?
Text.
Instagram or TikTok?
TikTok.
What is your typical Sunday?
Sleeping in really late and Sunday reset, laundry, cleaning, maybe a little work, maybe a little fun.
What is your favorite season?
Summer.
And what is your favorite song at the moment?
Ooh. Saturn by SZA.
Rate yourself out of 10.
10.
And if you had a boat, what would you name it?
Oh my God. That's a good one. Like Princess or something.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being on. I love this conversation. I feel like it was a long time coming.
Yeah.
If you are interested in matching with our anonymous guest, you can find us on Instagram at drinks.first. Link in bio. There's a form you can fill out. And I'm your host, Ariana Nathani. We're at Shacks on Bond in NoHo currently. So thank you for the beautiful space and drinks. All right, we're good. Thank you so much. And now you're fine. Of course. I think we're set.